Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures continued, issue number 24 from IDW. Three nasty turtles and a sharp-dressed brain. So we start off this issue with Hobbs working on the trans-dimensional portal, and we're finally back to the main plot line. So the main plot line is, for anyone who's unfamiliar or forgot or whatever, Hobbs is a galactic thief, and he has a group. And the turtles have come across that group and basically trapped them in this other dimension with no way out. Hobbs was the only one to escape. And so he decides to team up with KRANG'S to put his knowledge of interdimensional portals with KRANG'S technology and supplies and basically create another transdimensional portal so that he can bring his group into Earth. And the reason KRANG is going along with this is because, one, it will allow him to make Shredder and Rocksteady tangible again, because right now they're basically intangible. And two, it will allow KRANG to be able to use the portal to bring his army from Dimension X. So everybody wins. And we have them actually working on this now. We had kind of taken a break from them. Like, they might show up for like a panel or two, but mostly it's been just a bunch of one-shots that have nothing to do with this main story. So I'm glad that we're going back to this. And Hobbs is like, okay, I think I got everything like fixed and stuff, but I still got to kind of recalibrate it. And Shredder's like, no, I've waited too long. Just hit the button. So Hobbs hits the button, and it sends out this weird vibe that Leo was able to sense. And Raphael jokes that it's probably just gas, because Leo went seconds on broccoli and bean pizza, which just sounds really disgusting. Broccoli on pizza is just, I don't know. Even bean on pizza. Like, I like beans, but not on my pizza, man. But before they can really discuss this, Michelangelo senses something. He hears a call for help, so they decide to go check it out. Meanwhile, Rocksteady is able to become tangible again, but Shredder is still a ghost. He's still basically like a spirit. He's still trapped in between dimensions. KRANG, however, is able to get his old body back. Somehow the unstable wobble in time and space swapped the atoms from his walker to an android body. So he's super happy about that. And then we cut to the Crooked Ninja Turtle gang, which are basically just dudes in turtle pajamas with paper bags over their head. And it's super funny because their outfits are basically the pajamas I used to wear as a kid. It looks exactly like this. And as a kid, I also had a Raphael bandana, which had the like a plastic turtle nose attached to it. So when you put it on, you have like the turtle nose. But I had a friend that actually made a turtle mask out of a paper bag. So this just like reminds me of that. It reminds me of just my childhood. Like, as soon as I saw them, I was like, okay. They're wearing the same outfit that I would wear as a kid. Like, the same pajamas, basically. These guys were like, I would totally join up with this gang. But then that's when the evil turtles show up. The evil turtles being the turtles from a couple issues back. It was when Michelangelo came across a genie, and the genie sent him through like different dimensions and stuff like that. It was an okay story with an actual pretty good message that like really hit me at the time. You guys can go track down that video. At the end of this, if you're watching this on YouTube, I have a playlist of this entire series. So you can find all my Turtle Saturday Morning Adventures comics video reviews on there. But yeah, these are the evil turtles. And I guess Michelangelo doesn't exist in this version. But this version of Turtles, they're obviously evil. They kind of have like a BDSM gear. If you're looking at them and you're like, oh, it kind of looks like they're borrowing some stuff from Shredder. It's because they work for Shredder. In their dimension, Shredder is actually the mayor. And they work under him. And so they decide to attack these wannabe dudes in paper bags and basically just beat them up. And as they're beating them up, they see a newspaper fall out. And they look at it, and it's a mayoral scandal. And they realize that the mayor isn't Shredder. And they're like, oh, that weird wobbly sensation we felt earlier, it must have sent us to a reality where Shredder doesn't run this town. Which means that it's ours for the taking. And so the turtles get wind of this, and they're trying to track down these evil turtles. And eventually they come across the evil turtles after that are robbing a cat cafe. which I'm wondering if that's actually a thing in America. I know it's a thing in Japan. In Japan, there's like the cat cafes where basically like you go in and like you can order like coffee or tea or pastries and stuff, and there's like a bunch of cats that kind of just walk around and you can like pet them and you can buy treats for them and stuff like that. Japan has a bunch of like unique cafes. Like, I mean, obviously there's the maid cafes and stuff, but I've never heard of a cat cafe in America. So yeah, if anyone has ever heard of one, let me know. I'm not saying I'm gonna go like check it out or anything, because I mean I have my own cats. I'm a huge pet fan, so I have a dog, I have 2 cats, so I got my own cats to hang out with if I want. But I do find it interesting, and if no one has done it before, hey, that would be like an interesting business to do. But enough rambling. Our turtles, the heroes, come out from their turtle van, and they're wearing disguises that aren't really disguises. I mean, it's just a hoodie with the hat, which begs the question, why? Because this world apparently already knows about the turtles, because in an earlier panel, we had Vern, and Vern was basically talking about how the turtles have been causing chaos and how some people have been claiming that they're heroes, but looks like they're showing their true colors. So this city already knows about the Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I don't know why they're wearing the disguise now. It's not like you have anything to hide. Especially since you're battling the evil turtles, you might want to show that there's actually good turtles by not wearing the disguise. But yeah, we got a battle between them. I'll be skipping a bunch of pages. The battle basically ends with the evil turtles stealing the turtle mobile and making their escape. And we have a moment where, like, as they're making their escape, they crash into the ultimate rat catcher, which, like, I haven't seen this thing in forever. I remember this. This was it was made by Baxter Stockman. He basically took a like an excavator, is that what they're called? And he like amped it up to go after Splinter and the Turtles. I like how it's basically like just a bunch of like parking violations on it. The evil turtles think that they're making their escape, but then Donnie is able to communicate with them through a camera and pretty much tells them like, yeah, you're screwed. Just because you took the van doesn't mean you have full control over it. In fact, I'm going to lock you out of everything. So he locks them out of the weapons. He locks the doors, and it's kind of funny how the doors lock from the outside rather than from the inside. So you would think that anyone can just walk over to the car and just unlock it, because the little lock thing is outside the window rather than inside the car. And then he also hits them with sleeping gas. So he's basically able to just completely beat them by allowing them to take the van and then just using the van against them. And then they use a portal to teleport them to Dimension Z, where we see Oog once again. I don't know how many times we've seen this guy in this series. I think the writer like is a huge fan of Oog, because we've seen Oog more than almost any other villain. And then there's some more I'm gonna be skipping, and then we have we bookend back with Krang and Hob. And I'm not going to spoil that. Yeah, this feels like it's not necessarily going back to the main storyline so much as it's kind of dipping its toe back into the main plot line. Because once again, this was more of like a one-shot with just a bookend of the main plot. So we had Hob and Krang and their story start the issue and then end the issue. But the entire majority and middle of the issue had nothing to do with them. It was just a one-shot of the turtles going against some evil turtles, which is fine. I don't mind the one-shots. My only thing is that I would do the one-shots after you finish the main arc. The problem with this series has been its pacing, in the sense that we will start an arc, we'll get a couple of maybe like 1 or 2 issues of that arc, and then we will completely stop that arc so that we can have like 3 or 4 or 5 one-shots that have nothing to do with the arc. And then we'll come back to the arc again and continue. And I think that's not the way to go. What I would do is you start with an arc, you complete that arc, and then you can have like 1 or 2 or 3 one-shots that, you know, are just its own self-contained stories. And then you start another arc and you complete that arc before you go back to the one-shots. So I wouldn't be sprinkling one-shots in the middle of arcs. I would do it in between arcs. So you start an arc and then you end that arc before you do a one-shot. And you can do however many one-shots you want. And then you start another arc and you complete that arc before you do another one-shot. That's how I would do it, but they, I guess, don't want to do that here because we keep jumping back and forth between the main arc and then a bunch of one-shots, and then we might sprinkle in a little bit of the main arc into these one-shots, and then we might have like one issue or two of the main arc before we go back to one-shots. And I don't know, to me, I don't care too much for that pacing. Maybe that's just a me thing. I don't know, you let me know what you think. Is this just me being nitpicky, or do you like my idea more of just having the one-shots in between one arc to the next rather than in the middle of an actual arc? But other than that, this was an interesting issue. I didn't mind it. It was entertaining. I'm not going to say anything about the artwork because it would just be the same thing I always say. It's the same artist, and I enjoy the artwork. The artwork captures that Saturday morning design perfectly. There's only so much I can repeat about the artwork, but I like it. The story itself, it's funny because it's for kids, but it also has little Easter eggs and references that only someone who watched the original cartoon would know, and that would mostly be adult, because I don't think there's any kids going back and watching the old 80s, 90s cartoons. Maybe there are, I don't know. I don't have kids of my own, but if I did, I would totally sit them down and watch the old cartoons with them. I'd make them watch all the Turtles cartoons, actually. All of them have been pretty good for the most part. I didn't care too much for Rise, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but the old cartoons were good. The Mirage 2003 run was really freaking good. That's probably like the best one in terms of capturing the old comic book feel. And even the Nickelodeon one was pretty good, the CGI one. So you can't go wrong with a Turtles TV series. Kind of rambling, but yeah, I like this. It's entertaining. It's made for me, but not for me at the same time. Like I said, like it's made for people who grew up on the cartoons, but it's very like childish storylines. So it's like childish storylines mixed with a bunch of Easter eggs and references that you would only know if you watched the cartoons, meaning you would have to be an adult. I mean, I like the fact that it's childish storylines. I don't want to see my cartoon Turtles that I grew up with as a kid go down the dark and gritty route. I wouldn't mind a dark and gritty Turtles comic. I mean, there are plenty of them. And I wouldn't actually mind a dark and gritty, like more mature Turtles cartoon series, like one garnered towards like adults, ones that are more in line with the original Mirage style. That would be pretty cool. But I don't want to see my Saturday morning comic or cartoon go down that route. So I'm glad that it sticks to the childish, kid-friendly storylines. But yeah, there you go. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures Continued, issue number 24 from IDW. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.